Hey folks, this is a brief review of the new Kindle Scribe ebook reader. This is a new 24 series model that incorporates both the ebook reader as well as the a new kind of e-ink note-taking facility. So I just booted it up, and as you can see, it's a fairly generous screen. It's got a new pen. This is the premium pen with a magnetic side, which basically clasps right onto the side there. I would say that it's strong enough, but if you bump it, it will fall off. The difference between the standard pen and the premium pen is that it's got this shortcut button, which you can program to do several other actions. By default, it's configured to press and hold for highlighter mode, which is probably what most of you would use, including myself. And on the back side, there's a kind of like a rubbery eraser, which automatically erases your notes on the screen. Okay, so one of the first things I've noticed, and I'm coming from Gen 1, Gen 2 type Kindle devices, which is very slow. It was time to upgrade. So the first thing I tried was graphic novels. I don't personally read it, but it was a good reflection of how fast this device is. You can see kind of how fast the refresh is. And this is something I was never able to do, and this is incredible. So you can take a panel, double click a panel, and it'll go full screen. And it pretty much demonstrates the evolution of these e-ink devices. So I'm just going to open a random book here. This is one of my kids' books. Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate some of the things that really is nifty about this Scribe. And this Scribe has this new thing called Active Canvas. It works relatively okay. It's a little clunky, not exactly how I thought it would be, but you know, it's gonna get better and better. First of all, amazing screen. It looks fantastic, very vivid, and sharp, contrasty, easy to read. Looks exactly like paper to me. So there's a little toolbox on the side, and you can actually go like this and move it to the other side if you want. And then there's little tools here that you can use to annotate this book. Now the default is this pen, and you can kind of change the different looks and thicknesses. I'm just going to keep it on pen for now. And then what's cool about this mode is you can kind of underline like that, and then it'll underline. And you can also go ahead and press note, and it will actually do a sticky note. So you can say, this is great, and then save it. So if you can see here, there's a little kind of superscript text that will bring up the note that you wanted to type on about that stuff. You can also just press the sticky note there, kind of, I don't know, say something. Okay, and then within there, there's another toolbar where you can change things up and delete, right? And do some more scribbles, take some notes. If you don't want to write, you can actually type your note. So you can say hi, and it'll be a nice typed out note there. Okay, so I'm going to close that. The obvious thing here is that you guys are familiar with is the highlight, and you can highlight, you know, whatever you want here, and it'll highlight as such. Eraser. In the eraser mode, you basically can erase scribbles that you put on a note, and it only works, so you can actually go and erase that because it's a highlighted and an underlined thing. You could only erase like text boxes and stickies. So if I go to the sticky here, I can either go to the eraser mode, or I can take this pen, and the premium pen has a dedicated eraser. You kind of use it exactly like how you would, just like that. Okay, and then the lasso tool is a copy and select tool. You can't, I was a little disappointed I couldn't lasso specific words like this and say, for example, that, Bess. I couldn't go to a note and paste that. Like there's no, you can't paste any of that stuff. So it doesn't really work in an ebook. But obviously it works within a handwritten note. So if I go and take the lasso tool here, circle that, and it becomes selectable item, and then you can sort of move it to a different location or delete it like that. So that's kind of how that works for now. Okay, and then the last thing I wanted to share was this this tool, which is basically you select that and then pick a point where you want that divider, and then from there you can write some notes here, notes in line. Okay, and then kind of work your way around that, and that's how it works. I will show you one other thing that it does, and this is probably the most demonstrated one online, is that you can kind of put a note anywhere and then say yes, and then you can create this little quick note. Hello, I can't even spell right now while I'm doing this. And it kind of shifts all the characters justified to the other side. And that's another way you can annotate your text. So there's several options. Personally, I like this option, or the sticky. I don't really like this. What I would really like to see is just a way for me to not have these separated text boxes and shifting. I just want to like circle a word, but it doesn't let you do that. You have to actually make it a box, and it turns into something like that, which is a little bit awkward to me. So I don't particularly like this way of annotating. I think maybe in future updates things will change, but right now that's kind of how it works. And that's why I kind of prefer this or the sticky note, which is really nice. I like the sticky note the best, to be honest. Okay, to get out of here, obviously you can't be on write mode or else you start writing here. I go to the I guess, I don't know what you call that, the finger select mode, and you kind of tap on the top, go to home, and you exit your book. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to demonstrate is the notebooks. So I kind of have two personal folders, and this is the way you can organize it. This is the only way to organize it, is you create folders or notebook. A folder will generate basically a directory, aka folder, and you can, I go to personal, you can create a new notebook, okay, and there's a whole bunch of templates here, different lined graph paper, checklist, daily planner, weekly planner, music staff, which is kind of cool. You know, you can go through this and there's, you know, or you could just go blank. I'm going to go narrow ruled with margin and select create. Okay, so you'll get what looks to be a sheet of paper, a loose leaf sheet of paper. And you effectively, you pick your poison, and then you pick fountain pen, okay? And then you start writing. That looks pretty cool. That. If you don't like that, just go back to pencil mode, okay? And then it's a bit too thick, but you can make it thinner here. Sharper pencil. There you go. Like that. Personally, I kind of like the pen. And then, like I showed you before, you can go to lasso, select, move, that kind of thing. Same deal. You can highlight like that, same deal. And everything else is familiar because the exact same toolbar exists here, as well as in an ebook. Very cool. This is really, it really looks amazing to me. Okay, one thing I wanted to show you, just give me a sec. You can send this current page or entire notebook. If I say share current page, if I click that, you can actually send it an email, a PDF of this to an email address, which is really cool, or the entire notebook, and then kind of export it in a way that's shareable, which is very, very cool. I love that functionality. You can arrange your notebook to see various pages, add a page, and so forth. Okay, that's pretty much a really quick summary of the things that are really cool about this device. And now, just a few things that I found a little bit unfortunate with the Kindle Scribe is that this thing is region locked, which means that if you are desiring or if you're expecting to listen to audibles or use the Whisper Sync functionality in Canada with a Canadian Audible account or Amazon account, you will not be able to do that. It's locked. The functionality, the hardware is capable of doing that. In fact, Bluetooth exists. But if you try transferring audibles here, it will never make it because it's region locked, I mean. So you can't listen to audibles, you can't do Whisper Sync. That stuff won't work if you're Canadian and you have a Canadian Amazon account, unfortunately. It does have accessibility functionality through Bluetooth headphones, meaning that it will basically, any functionality you press, it kind of audibly repeats what you just did, like copy, paste, things like that. So that the Bluetooth functionality exists for audio, but to my surprise, I was a little bit bummed that Amazon locked this for Canada. And I'm hoping maybe in a future update they allow audibles, at least audibles, to work on this ebook reader. For now, you're going to have to use your mobile phone to do that kind of thing with audibles. The second thing that was a little bit annoying for me was that the charger is on the side here. I would have preferred it if it were here on the bottom or on the top, like I'm used to, but I just can't get used to having a charger on the side. There's probably a group of users that really preferred that. I don't know who, but the USB-C port is on the side and the power button's on the side. I would also prefer the power button on top as well, or on the bottom. Either way, I'd be happy with either. But for whatever reason, ergonomically, they thought it was a good idea to put it on the side. And that's, I don't know, it bugs me a little bit. I think I'll have to get used to it, but that's a nitpicky comment to make. So, all in all, it's a really good, fast ebook reader and a note-taking device. I love that I now have 64 gigs of space. I can download the books and take the notes. It's fantastic, and I can export the notes with much ease. And it's been a very welcomed upgrade for me, coming from like a Gen 1 or Gen 2 Amazon Kindle. So I highly recommend it. I just crossing my fingers for that Audible support. Okay, that's it for now. Cheers.
Hi, so this is just a quick review of the Kindle Scribe. So here I've got like a little line, with little lines drawn and these dots. Basically, this is a simple test. Here, I will erase. Actually, let's show off some features. So if you want to access the menu, you tap the side and you get your hamburger menu here, and you can just do delete current page. Easy, cleared it out. We're still on page 1 of 1. Wonderful. Something I wish some other inks had, like this, that would be able to do this as quickly. But here's a second thing. If you want to access your menu, you have your dark mode, which is really nice. I actually enjoy this. Even though I don't see myself using it, I only see dark mode being more relevant if you use high brightness. But if we're not using brightness, if we're avoiding using the LEDs altogether to maximize battery life, regular, zero brightness. Zero brightness technically still has some light. I don't know if you can tell, but if I cover it, you can still, there is some backlight, which is annoying. I don't like it. Anyways, because like the whole point of it with e-ink is to not have light. Yeah, anyways. Let's go over some of the main issue I want to talk about. So, we're using notebook mode. So I'm just going to go back just to show that we're using a regular notebook. I'm going to create a new one right here. So we can create a folder. It's pretty cool. You get your text. And we'll just call it folder 1 just for the sake of it. Keyboard works properly. No complaints about that. And if we go to create notebook, we get the same option. We get our templates, which is really nice. I actually like this. But I'm just, for the sake of like, I write notes on a blank sheet. It's how I work. Because, I don't know. Anyways, whole point, we're just going to go over blank one just because. It's going to create it. Here's our new notebook. Now, the main issue is there is a fine area where we cannot do vertical strokes at a certain length. I'm going to draw it out right now. It's somewhere roughly here. Okay, all right, let's put that away because that's in the way. Also, slight annoyance is that just floats there. I wish there was like, if they were able to differentiate finger strokes from pen strokes, I would love to be able to do gestures to like slide from the corner, from the side to over, and then just leave page swapping from the middle of the page. So as you can see, page 1 and 2, it's very responsive, very fast, very nice. I love it. Anyways, back to this page. So what I'm going to demonstrate is draw. Do that to draw down. Now look, if I do straight lines, oh, a little too long. Oh, if I want to do a circle, oh, even a circle. Now let's test how far this goes. Okay. If we draw a C, a very wide curved C will trigger it. Just to make sure that it's not my palm touching, I'm just going to do this. So the point is, there is a specific length of your downstroke or vertical stroke that will trigger this. So this was too short. Possibly, it could even possibly be because it was not as straight as it could have been. But then again, if these curves are triggering it as well, then like, I highly doubt it's that little bit. Now, so yeah, if we do straight lines here, perfectly fine. Oh, no, okay, never mind. Maybe I drew it a little too high. But yeah. I also suspect it's speed related. So if I do this slowly, oh no, okay, never mind. Not speed related. Okay, so that was the main issue I wanted to bring up. Let's see. If I wanted to do it from the side, same thing happens. Same thing happens. Let me go out a little more just to make sure the naysayers can't say, oh, you're doing it on the side. Anyways, yeah. All these regions, not allowed to put a straight line. So if you wanted to draw, you're completely screwed. Yeah, so artists would probably not like this at all. Anyways, let's go over the eraser. Eraser's amazing. I love it. Straight. It's not like, I find the eraser better than the Remarkable one, mainly because like it's so much smoother when I actually use it, whereas the Remarkable, sometimes it catches, sometimes it's extremely smooth. It's not consistent. Not as consistent as a Kindle one. Anyways, second part. Another thing, that's not the only menu you can access. Oh look, oops, I accidentally triggered that by trying to erase something at the top. Like I want to get rid of that dot. Oh, this menu comes up. But at least it got rid of the dot. But it means that now I have to do 2 taps to get out and get back to what I'm doing. Oh, now let's see. Oh, I can't do dots. Like, so for example, if I want to write an I, oh, well, nope, not allowed to. Oh, okay, maybe I am now. But yeah, you see how, like, inconsistent this is? It's very troublesome. So basically, our operating range is somewhere. Okay, new complaint. I'm not allowed to draw across, because it's going to take it as a gesture, as, hey, you're going to the next page. Well, that's not what I wanted. Like, I'm just drawing a straight line, right? I don't know how I triggered that. Oh yeah, oh right, that's because I'm on page 1 of 1, I can only scroll that way. But yeah, you want to draw a line that way? Nope. You're going to the next page, and it's going to put that line into the next page. Wonderful.
Buenas, pues soy usuario del Kindle desde hace muchos años. Tengo el Kindle Paperwhite, he tenido el Kindle Scribe de primera generación y recientemente me llegó a casa el Kindle de el 2024. La verdad que el Kindle Scribe de 2024 es una auténtica pasada, de una calidad increíble. La nueva función Canva es fantástica, el poder anotar en cualquier ebook y en cualquier PDF, subrayar, anotar, tirar para adelante, retroceder, leer en esa pantalla de 10 pulgadas. Todo es una maravilla hasta que decides trabajar con PDFs largos y te pasas varios días leyendo ese PDF, anotando, subrayando, destacando. Y cuando acabas todo el trabajo realizado con ese PDF, decides que vas a pasar ese PDF trabajado al ordenador. Y ahí es donde empieza la pesadilla. Y es que sí, puedes trasladar ese documento al ordenador, pero la aplicación del ordenador para leer PDF y he probado 10 diferentes de las más conocidas, no reconocen las anotaciones hechas a mano, porque las anotaciones hechas a mano pasan al ordenador como si fueran parte de la propia imagen del documento, con lo cual no puedes utilizar el buscador de otra aplicación de PDF para encontrar aquella anotación concreta que necesitas buscar y por lo tanto las de buscar de forma artesanal. Sí que es verdad que las aplicaciones de PDF externas a Kindle reconocen los subrayados, reconocen las anotaciones hechas de forma subrayada o con una línea, ¿no? Anotación o subrayado, pero no reconoce las anotaciones a mano que sí que las puedes ver, pero no las puedes buscar. Así que no os puedo enseñar el Kindle porque lo he devuelto, porque principalmente lo quería para poder trabajar en PDFs, ya que me parece una buena pantalla de mucha calidad y por lo tanto quería utilizarlo con esa finalidad. Y si esa es tu finalidad, te recomendaría que no lo compraras. Ahora, si lo que quieres es un Kindle para leer los libros de la tienda Kindle en una pantalla de 10 pulgadas, no te lo pienses porque es magnífico. Y más te voy a decir, si además eres de los que te gusta anotar, tiene una libreta digital maravillosa. Eso sí, en el momento que quieres compartir esa nota con el ordenador, te va a pasar lo mismo. El ordenador va a detectar la nota como una imagen o bien como un PDF en formato imagen y por lo tanto no te va a servir para poder buscar en ningún buscador parte de ese texto que has escrito. Por lo tanto, fuera del entorno Kindle, el Kindle tiene muchas limitaciones. Dentro del entorno Kindle, si eso es lo que quieres, no te lo pienses porque es fantástico. Hasta la próxima.